All right, hey, what's up everybody? I'm Landon with LMR.com. In this video, we're gonna be checking out SVE's 2003-2004 style Ford Lightning steering wheel that fits all 1999 to 2004 Ford Lightnings. Like a lot of other parts that we do, we pursue, we curate. This one is just like all of the others. I've owned my truck, my second gen Lightning, it's a 2000 model year, for about 14 years at the time of this video. And all along the way, I've always wanted the 2003-2004 style Lightning wheel. I didn't want to pay the prices for a used one, and I dang sure didn't want to pay the price for an NOS one. With some of the trucks we've had here around the shop over the years and feedback from all of you, we finally went out and made a steering wheel that mimics the steering wheel from the 2003 and 2004 style Ford Lightning. Jumping right into it, you're gonna have the black perforated leather, black baseball style stitching, and the seams are positioned correctly down here at kind of the 5 o'clock and 7 o'clock positions, just like on a factory steering wheel. The spokes will have the black molded urethane material that has the correct OEM texture, and then the all aluminum frame will have the correct mounting locations for the cruise control switches and the rearward trim. Speaking of the cruise control switches and the rearward trim, the attaching locations, you'll have to cut threads. You'll have to use your factory screw to cut threads into the aluminum, and when you do this, don't go at this with an impact. Use your hand tools and work in a methodical manner. We'll show that here in just a second whenever we install one into my truck. When we do stuff like this, we like details, and a few of the details you'll notice with the SVE steering wheel are the pull indicators for your two-jaw puller. Speaking of the two-jaw puller, you will need just a simple basic two-jaw puller to remove your steering wheel from the truck. Dimensionally, the SVE steering wheel is the exact same as an original wheel, be it 99 to 02 or 03, 04. The steering wheels were the same with the exception of the smooth leather in 99, 02, and then the perforated leather for 2003 and 2004. And then what we did, like we've done on other SVE steering wheels, is that we slightly oversized the grip area. The diameter is just a little bit larger than you'll find on your original wheel, and to us, it feels better. It looks better in the truck, and it's kind of hard to explain on video, but y'all just have to trust me on this one. Whenever you purchase this SVE steering wheel, you get it out of the box, you examine it, you look at it, and then especially when you get it installed in the truck and you go for a drive, the thing just looks so good. It feels good whenever you get it installed. So some of the things that I do whenever I'm installing parts into my vehicles and some vehicles around the shop, I like to consider other components in the area. And for this particular steering wheel, some of the things that I'm gonna do would be a new steering wheel bolt, and then we also have manufactured the airbag retaining bolt covers. These snap into the sides of the rearward trim, and oftentimes these will be missing, they'll be damaged, or name your scenario as to why you may need new ones. The bolt and these covers are relatively inexpensive. Go ahead and get you some new covers and a bolt whenever you get your new steering wheel. And speaking on behalf of the bolt, I get it, I know a lot of you would probably just reuse your factory bolt, but for me, I like the peace of mind of knowing that kind of the liability of bolt that retains my steering wheel to the steering shaft. I just want a new one just for the peace of mind. Worst case scenario in your truck, you may have to freshen up your airbag and your rearward trim with some of our interior paint. So if you do have to do that at the time of this steering wheel, definitely get you a can of the black interior paint for the second gen Lightnings. I've used it in my truck, and the match is so close to the original color. With that, this steering wheel is going to fit all 1999 to 2004 Ford Lightnings due to the specific airbag. So I know what you're probably gonna ask. You own another model year vehicle within this range as the second gen Lightnings. You're gonna wonder, well, can I put this steering wheel in my vehicle? The answer is yes and no. If you do it, you're gonna have to track down a good airbag from a Lightning due to the airbag being specific for these particular trucks. So I think I've covered everything. Y'all know me, I'll sit here and talk forever. We're gonna jump over here to my 2000 Lightning, show you how to remove your factory wheel and then install the new SVE steering wheel. To get started, you'll first want to disconnect the negative battery cable and let it sit for at least 1 minute. Locate the two bolt hole covers on both sides of the steering wheel. Remove these with a small flathead screwdriver, but be careful not to damage the cover or the plastic trim. Now remove the two 8mm airbag retaining bolts. Carefully slide the airbag out of the steering wheel, disconnect the electrical connection, and set it aside. Disconnect the cruise control and horn button harness electrical connection. Loosen and remove the steering wheel retaining bolt with a T50 Torx driver. You want to hold the wheel with your free hand while you loosen the bolt. Now you want to use something to press against that either fits within the opening in the steering wheel or will slide down inside of the steering shaft. I just use whatever I have laying around, which just so happened to be an old 7/16 nut driver bit. Just avoid using anything sharp because you don't want to damage the steering shaft threads. Assemble the 2-jaw puller and run the screw down until you establish some preload. Turn the press screw clockwise to pull the steering wheel off of the shaft. Once it's free, remove the 2-jaw puller. Feed the airbag connection through the opening and then remove the wheel from the truck. Remove whatever you use to press against. Place the wheel on a workbench. With the wheel facing towards you, disconnect the horn electrical connection from the contact pad. Loosen and remove the 2 T30 torque screws. Set the contact pad aside. Do the same for the other one. Now remove the 4 Phillips head screws securing the cruise control switches to the frame. There are 2 per side. Flip the wheel over and remove the 2 Phillips head screws securing the rear trim to the frame. Remove the cruise control harness from the slots on the frame and then set the harness and trim aside. Be sure to make note of the electrical wire routing so you can reinstall the harness in the same orientation. Before transferring the existing parts to the new SVE steering wheel, we'll have to use the factory hardware to cut threads in the frame. I started with the T30 torque screws. So that it's not in your way, remove the washer from the screw. Just be sure to put it back on the screw whenever you're finished. Position them by hand first, and then carefully turn each screw until you have a small gap between the shoulder and the frame. Do this for all 4 locations. Now you want to thread the holes for the 6 Phillips head screws. Use the same technique as you did for the T30 screws. If you'd like, clean up the airbag, the rear trim, and cruise control switches with a cleaner designed for automotive interiors. Once finished, condition the parts with an automotive-specific interior conditioner. Go ahead and reposition the cruise control switches and rear trim at the same time. Reroute the wire through the hooks. Verify that the harness isn't pinched and snug down the 2 rearward screws. Position either one of the cruise control switches into place and install the retaining screws. These just need to be snug. Do the same for the other switch and make sure the top screw on the driver's side has the ground underneath the screw's head. Reinstall the left-hand horn contact pad and fully tighten the screws. Reconnect the electrical connection. Do the same for the other side, but make sure the harness gets positioned underneath the pad. Before installing the new wheel into the truck, make sure the cruise control harness is properly positioned within the rear trim. Reinstall the steering wheel back onto the steering shaft and feed the airbag connection through the opening in the wheel. Reconnect the cruise control and horn button harness. Install a new retaining bolt and torque it to 28 foot-pounds. Due to the nature of a Torx bolt, you may need help from someone else to hold the wheel while you torque the bolt. Position the airbag into place and reconnect the electrical connection. Gently push the airbag into place and retighten the 2 retaining bolts. These just need to be hand tight. Snap the covers back into place. Reconnect the negative battery cable and then test to make sure the horn works. You can verify the cruise control switches once you go for a drive. After that, you're good to go. All right, everybody, so that's a wrap. I can tell you, I'm pretty pumped. Installing it into my truck felt like a long-time checklist has been fulfilled with the SVE 2003-2004 style steering wheel. It looks good in the truck, it feels right in the hands, and it's just another piece to help support these vehicles, support these trucks, and keep them on the road for years to come and allow us a lot of time for future enjoyment. So if y'all find value in what we do, please consider liking the video, subscribing to the channel, turning on notifications, and then until we see you in the next one, for all things second gen Lightning, keep it right here with the Real Enthusiasts, LMR.com.